Wrestling fans, I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And we are just minutes out of WWE Backlash in France. The French crowd were insane, to say the very, very least. They absolutely killed it. But did the WWE kill it with the show itself? We're going to be discussing all of that today, and we're going to be breaking it down match by match, segment by segment. It's going to be fun, and for a fun show, I need a fun panel. It's part of what makes the show fun. And for that, I have joining me firstly, Clark. Hello, Clark.
What's going on? I'm stoked to be here. Randy Orton's back was surely lashed today in some of those spots. And so were a few in that opening match. I'm stoked to get into it.
Absolutely. Kobe's also joining us, the head of reviewing, Coby Galenzoski.
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty good. Of course, Backlash. I feel like it was a very fun show. Very much delivered from start to finish. And of course, we're here to talk about it.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, the man who on super late notice filled in for me yesterday when I had to take care of some personal matters. We have the Tuesday Night Delight on a Saturday night. Shad, how are you, Shad?
Bonjour, Ben Allison. Omelette du fromage, as Dexter says it. Had to say my French. I'm good, man. Of course, bro. I'm always here. It's Wrestling Republic gang. And yeah, Backlash was a great show, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Absolutely, and let's just jump in head first, just like I think everybody's heads in this match went head first into a trash can because there was a lot of headshots in it, and that was Randy Orton and Kevin Owens against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, and boy, oh boy, did these boys show up and show out. They killed it. This was a brutal way to open the show, a great way to open the show. And I mean, listen, I loved how they did it firstly as a normal match. It went chaotic. Nick Aldis came out and said, hey, let's not, throw the match out. Instead, let's turn it into a street fight. And it was awesome. Now, like we've said before, there are a lot of members of the Bloodline, and we've speculated on what different ones could in the future potentially arrive in the Bloodline. Well, one which none of us mentioned the other day was Tonga Loa. But he showed up, the ex-New Japan star, former Bullet Club star, and he helped his old tag team partner, Tama Tonga, and Solo Sikoa get the win. This is how to open a pay-per-view. I loved it. But Clark, I want to find out your thoughts.
I was shocked. I feel shocked. It was awesome. Tonga Loa, great call. The artist formerly known as Camacho debuts in WWE. I love it. It was a surprise. It was out of left field. It's hard to surprise us in wrestling these days, and they did it when it came to this. The match itself, though, was off the charts. I was stoked about that. The commentary botch, I can't go without bringing up, Ben. It was comedy. I mean, Michael Cole, monster respect, one of the best to ever do it. Oops. Leaked the old, it's going to be a street fight just a skosh early. Yeah. My bad. That one was not it at all, I would say, but it's no big deal, no harm, no foul, because the match itself absolutely delivered. Some of those table spots, Randy Orton coming off of a major back surgery, and the amount of RKOs and table spots and back bumps he took blew me away. On top of Kevin Owens pretty much just using his body as a human crash test dummy, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. Both guys looked off the charts in this match. So did Tama. So did Solo. And for the first half, what I really liked about this is they kind of flipped the script. The babyface team really dominated the first half, whereas usually you see the heel beat down and then the big comeback. It ebbed and flowed because it was a long match, but I liked that we saw Solo and Tama selling a ton, even with the split screen at the start of the street fight for both Orton and KO. I thought that was a cool way to do this match because it got the crowd really hot. And the crowd to me made this show awesome. It's back-to-back backlashes where a crowd has borderline stolen the show. And
That's true.
I thought for an opener, it was enjoyable. I will absolutely let the street fight leak slide because the match itself was worth it. And at the end of the day, it was funnier than anything.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't realize Michael Cole worked for the Dirt Sheets. Well, he's clearly, at least he didn't put it behind a paywall, eh? But, Shad, I want to get your thoughts on this match. I mean, what did you think about this one?
Man, I thought this was an excellent opening match. It brought the energy, and there's not a bloodline match without it being chaotic and having stipulations. I feel like that's kind of the nuance of what we see in the bloodline, but I'm not upset about it. I thought it was a good opening match for Tama Tonga entering into the WWE. First match that we got to see it with him. Thought he looked great. Super chaotic, of course, all the headshots to each competitor with the weapons, and some of these guys might have to go get a test for a concussion after that. But it played its role, man. I mean, you don't go wrong with the people in the match as well. And I feel like a guy like Kevin Owens definitely deserves his flowers because time in and time out, every pay-per-view, I feel like he does a superb job, whether he makes himself look incredible of what he does with his moves or just being a great dance partner with the other competitors and making them look good selling. I thought it worked out perfectly well. The new addition to this pseudo bloodline, it has me intrigued. Obviously, these are the sons, of Haku and them coming into the WWE is intriguing. I'm curious to see what Solo has up his sleeve going forward with this new iteration of the bloodline. And we can't, deny the fact that Mr. Paul Heyman does a superb job storytelling without saying too much. Facial expressions, his body language, his demeanor, everything is so intriguing because you don't know how he feels. And we know Heyman is kind of the catalyst of how the bloodline is in general. His, unsureness, is he worried that Roman might come back and be teed off and not be happy about this? Or is he actually legitimately afraid of these new counterparts and Solo being head in charge, that this is going to be something too much and it may cause a lot of havoc? Because we'll talk about that match later, but the interaction with Jay Uso prior to it as well, like there's a lot that is to be unraveled with this new iteration, and it has me excited. I think it's a good way to extend the story but open up like a new chapter, even a new book in a sense to it as well. So all in all, great. Randy Orton, also, I gotta give him his props. He's one of the best ever. So I'm happy about it, and I like this RKO team as well. Randy Orton might be the best tag team suited, like spot on tag team partner, because he meshes with people so well. And I might have to buy a shirt because I like the whole R with the KO tape as well. I
It's
thought
like
it looks
it's like
sweet.
rated RKO, but baby faces, right?
Yeah,
You got
it,
two just
it
like of
the
the cool
reason
guys.
the reason it meshes so well, and like, and this might be another story to it as well. It's like those guys are so good at turning on their tag team partners. So I'm wondering who is gonna turn on who between
Yes.
those. They're both like very unfaithful people in relationships, and you're waiting to see who's gonna cheat on which partner. So
Yes.
I like the toxicity with that. So
It's like keeping up with the Kardashians, but keeping up with the KOs. But I
okay,
mean,
yeah.
honestly, I completely agree with you, and Paul Heyman as well. That I mean, honestly, even though he's not in the bloodline, there's a good shout for him being the MVP of the entire bloodline storyline because he always makes things interesting. And you mentioned he made some calls without Roman Reigns knowing. Maybe he's working as a double agent. Maybe he's already working for Solo Sikoa. We have a couple of comments here. Grizz Company Monet saying an amazing show. We have Trissy saying, I'm sure everyone in this match has taken a long ice bath following that. Absolutely.
For sure.
And Break It Down Show says that crowd that crowd, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? And Josh is saying he spent the entire show just clueless of what they was chanting.
Same here.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's all I was saying in the watch party. I'm like, what are they yelling? Like,
but I like it. I don't know what they're saying, but I love this.
Kobe, what's your thoughts on
electric.
It was the opening bout?
I think this match bears parallels to the last kind of big Kevin Owens street fight we saw, and that was Kevin and Sammy versus Damian and Finn Balor. It was like Steel City or Pittsburgh. It was a Pittsburgh street fight for Payback, and it shares parallels, and they both delivered completely in different fashions. There was more, I don't want to say funny spots, but more like more gimmicky spots with the hockey aspect that they did in Pittsburgh. This one was just they had their moments in the crowd, and then they brawled in the ring, from the table spots to the trash can spots to the plenty of RKOs that looked tremendous. I thought that I actually don't know what he calls it, whatever the fisherman's suplex that Kevin does onto the chairs was
corkscrew fisherman.
Kind of a corkscrew, but like a twisting cat. He always counters the superplex with the kind of fisherman's buster type move, and it always looks good. The chairs, it looked phenomenal. I think everything about this match was electric, because we all sat here yesterday, not we all, but me, Shad, and Ignacio, and we said, well, the Bloodline need this win. And whether or not it was predictable or not, and it wasn't, because not only did they take it from a tag match, they turned it into a street fight. They changed our expectations, because they changed what we were expecting 24 hours ago. Or not, and that's the beauty of this one. And I thought it was very well done. I thought the victory needed to go to the Bloodline, and it went to the Bloodline. I like how you have Solo, Tama, and Tonga doing the right one to the sky, and Heyman's cowardly going with the left. And it's just great to see. I don't want to say we say this is cinema all the time, but they know what they're doing, because they know where to tease things. They know what directions, where to put they know where to put these nuggets, and they've done it so smartly over the last year and a half, and they deserve their credit completely. I think this probably is my match of the night, based on just how fun and enjoyable it was. And I think the move was correctly. It was correctly played out. I like the ending. I like how I can't remember what. I don't know if it was a replay package or just like a video package, and then they come back and you still see Kevin Owens selling, and it's like, this guy's so good at what he does. Randy Orton helping him up. I don't know. There's so many good things I can say about this match, but we're not going 60 minutes on one match alone.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, we could do, because that's how great this Bloodline story is, but we're not going to, because I think we need to talk about somebody else real quick. In fact, we need to talk about the WWE Women's Championship, because Bayley defended against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. This match, well, it was rather fun, wasn't it, Clark?
I really enjoyed it. I was blown away. I know we talked about it on while we're watching along a little bit. The second match on the card, placement wise, I think it's a little overblown, but it is still something that is in the back of people's minds. This is as strong of a second match on a pay-per-view card, PLE card, that I've seen in ages. It was awesome. All three women delivered, and all three women looked outstanding. And that opener was really hard to follow. You heard how positive both me and Kobe and Shad, all three of us, were about that match. You yourself too, Ben, right? The opener. That is a tough act to follow. These women truly delivered and kept the crowd hot for the whole night. Tiffany Stratton, I don't know how many people you can legitimately say get better every time. In any sport, in anything. And I'm not trying to, I know Shad is the biggest Tiffany Stratton fan of any of us, but genuinely, I am blown away. She, even if it's just inch by inch, she gets better every time out. And it's wild to see Bayley, the sublime veteran that she is, to me felt like the ring general that she should be in this match, and was just awesome. Sometimes I forget how great of an athlete Naomi is. Like, monster shout out. She looked incredible in this match from start to finish. And she's so athletic. It was fast paced for a triple threat. It was awesome. I enjoyed every second of it. My only, if I had to nitpick, slight complaint is it did feel a little bit like the baby faces ganging up on the presumed heel and Tiffany Stratton by the end of it, with Bayley and Naomi sort of posing together at the end. And that isn't super. Maybe a sign of respect would have made sense between two baby faces, but I would have rather the 2-on-1 been two heels, maybe in that scenario, than two baby faces. But that would just be my only, if I had to find one thing I didn't like about it. Other than that, I was blown away by this match. By a lot, it exceeded my expectations.
So what you're saying, Clark, is Bailey's a tight clip away from you turning on her, basically.
No.
But I'm only joking. I'm only joking. You can never turn on Bailey. Well, actually, I might when she's in the ring with Tiffany Stratton, because Shad, you have been praising Tiffany for the longest time. You've been saying it's Tiffy time, and I wasn't so hot on her, right? But wow, she has won me over on the main roster. I was almost like, just put the title on her tonight. She is her. What was your thoughts on this triple threat match?
Sensational match, bro. I said it yesterday. I think this was a dark horse match of the night candidate, just because these three women are electric competitors when you put them in a ring. Bailey had arguably one of the best matches at Mania on a star-studded Mania card. I had you last month. Naomi has been sensational from what she's been doing on Impact to when she's returned back. She's slowly getting her footing into the WWE, and she's looked good as of late. And of course, we must talk about the rising star, the center of the universe, Miss Tiffany Stratton. This is a person who really has come on to the scene on the main roster and has been hitting it on all cylinders, connecting on all cylinders when it comes to in-ring capability. The character is already there, right? We knew the character is there. She has a lot of charisma. She looks like a superstar because she is a superstar. But the in-ring ability is something that has been, sensational to see, man. Like, the sheer athletic ability that she has is out of this world. A lot of high flying spots, a lot of strength. And to Clark's point, it's not that it's two baby faces versus the heel. It's two people that know that she is the main threat in the entire match. They are inferior to her, brother. That is why they went against her. But I'm not mad at it in a sense, because Naomi's character is kind of this, I'm here for the competition. I'm here to make it work, but I respect my friends, and I'm cool with that. It makes Tiffany look strong at the end of the day, because y'all kind of had to get a leg up to try to not get her to win that match, right? And she didn't take the pin. I think it's important to keep Tiffany strong. I thought Bailey winning was the right call as well, because Bailey is the champ. She just won the title, and Naomi's. It was a very quick roll up win to have that way. I'm not mad
Yeah.
at that, but I think the call is for Tiffany to get this belt at some point this year. And it only like every time we have her in these pay-per-views, it's just a reminder of that. Internationally, these fans love her. She's got them eating at the palm of her hand. In ring
That's
wise,
true.
she's got it down to a pack. This is a person who is going to be a mainstay superstar on the main roster, man or women. Like this is a person who's number one selling this weekend in merchandise. And I'm about to buy my Tiffy Time shirt
Wow.
after we get off of here. Because it's time.
Wow, I didn't
Tiffy
even
time.
know that. That is great. I mean, Soul's jumping on the hype train as well, saying that he thinks Tiffy will be main eventing a WrestleMania in the next 3 years. I think that is entirely
Yeah,
possible
man.
indeed.
And this is a homegrown talent too. This wasn't a free agent signing. This is someone that they let develop in the course of time, man. And you'll see a lot of other guys and girls in NXT develop in the same trajectory, man. This is why it's always the twos up, right, Clark?
All
Throw
day,
those
every Tuesday,
twos.
every day actually,
Tuesday
not just
night.
Tuesdays.
I can't wait to see Obafemi in the main roster. It's gonna be just like this.
Well, Kobe, the head of
excited about
reviews,
Oba.
what was your take on this 4-star match according to the rating system? How were you feeling about the triple threat?
I think this is exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting these three talent to go out there, get their spots in, look great, tell a bit of a story. There was great moments. There, like I can list off everything. There are great things about it. I think. I mean, I'm joining the train anyway because Tiffany Stratton is tremendous in the ring. I agree it wasn't tonight, but I assume it's this year. She wins the belt. I think there's future main events of her and Becky running it back. Her and Charlotte Flair's obviously her personal dream match. I think it might have been a bit of a mistake, but obviously waiting for them to both be bigger and waiting for Tiffany versus Bianca to happen. That's another match that's going to be amazing when it happens. I think there's nothing bad you can say about Tiffany Stratton. I think everyone looked good. The crowd, of course, the atmosphere is going to make it as enjoyable as well. And I think everything was good in this match. I like the move. I like it's kind of not abrupt, but I like that it was a counter because it shows that Bayley was essentially prepared. She's kind of she's the veteran, although I think Naomi's wrestled longer than her. Maybe might be wrong with it. I don't think I'm wrong on that, but that Bayley's kind of viewed as the veteran. She was the veteran going into her match with Io Sky. Now she's the veteran with Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. She was the one who was smart enough to be able to just get that counter when it happened, when it needed to happen the most. I don't want to say I predicted it, but Tiffany Stratton being protected is the right move by having her not get the pinfall. I'm fine with the respect because they're really kind of going in the direction where faces aren't always going to be not lovey-dovey, but faces aren't always going to be like, oh, we're good. Thumbs up. No, we saw the teases with Bianca and Bayley, and that works perfectly. But there's not necessarily, like, other than Bayley beating Naomi before, there's not necessarily a point in time where Bayley and Naomi were heated rivals or had those issues. And that's where it's like, these are two people who spent years ago who were a part of the same locker room, and now they're back together and they're just glad to be friends. I like that part, but I also like the fact that they're teasing tension and not ignoring the past regarding Bianca. I don't know when that match happens, but I assume it's one of the potential matches they can go with. And right now, SmackDown, Bayley is the person to carry that belt. She's the one that's gonna lead this division into the new era, like they always call it with the draft. But she's the top star there, and she has a lot of talent to work with. Nia Jax, the people in this match. Like there's a lot more people to say, and it's gonna revolve around Bailey for a little while longer, and I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. No, I mean I am too. I do think Tiffy time it's getting close, but no, it's true. Chris Leclerc saying he went 5 for 5 with his predictions at Backlash. I'm gonna be honest, I think nearly everyone did. It was a very predictable show, if we're being honest about it. But no, I mean
I went 6 for 6. I even thought they'd cut a promo in French.
Oh, okay. Well, nice prediction, Clark. Nice prediction. But I mean, oh gosh. Well, another match which was quite predictable was Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. But I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm just going to say it how it is, right? I'm not the biggest Damian Priest guy. I've never been the biggest Damian Priest guy. I was never the biggest Punishment Martinez guy. But I was a guy who was a fan of this match. I thought it started slow, but as it went on, well, it became a little bit of a banger. Really enjoyable match. And just for a second at one point, it suspended my disbelief and made me think maybe, just maybe, we could see a Shark title change. But did we? Oh, no, we didn't. But what was your thoughts, Shad?
I thought it was a very good match as well. I think the pacing of it was solid. I think the style in the ring between both competitors was good. To parallel what Jay did at Mania with his brother to what he did with Priest tonight, a lot better showing. I think it's something that he needed. And it was the right call because Priest is a new champion as well. Also, of that we're mentioning the ending of the match, right, with him being fed up and upset with the members of the Judgment Day. We're starting to peel back the drama that is occurring with the Judgment Day. Seems like ever since Mommy got hurt, everything has been up in cahoots and everyone's breaking down, more so for Damian Priest. So that has my interest because I think Damian versus Finn potentially as a match is something of interest. But I'll be honest with you, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not super intrigued as him as world champion. I don't know why. I don't think he has anything added to make him like this title feel important. And I was hoping that would be the case. He had his moment, but his moment is kind of just his moment. We were just hoping that he'd be smart and cash in the briefcase. But I didn't really think he deserved to have the briefcase when he won it at Money in the Bank. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, and I feel that Jey Uso, and I'll be honest with you, he should have probably won it. LA Knight, yeah. But I think Jey Uso honestly wouldn't have been a bad pick to win tonight. Just how over he was with the crowd, and I think Jey Uso is a guy who lives by the name Main Event Jey Uso. I think he could have been a viable main event world heavyweight champion. He's done so much in his time these last few years when you talk about the storyline with the bloodline, with the tag team championship, but even telling stories within the tag team and having feuds within Roman and within Jimmy. And then just how he's been able to recreate himself as a single star. I feel like that would have legitimized the guy who's treading waters to be a main event guy and solidified it there. Damian Priest having a main event title, I still don't feel like he's a main event guy. And I still feel like he's below a lot of people who don't even have the belt on the Raw roster at this moment. But he's the champ. It's just that whole aspect of the Judgment Day kind of outweighs the superstar. The faction outweighs everything. And I don't know what happens when Judgment Day breaks up because he kind of, to me, stays in the same thing. I don't think he's bad by any means. I think he's a phenomenal worker. I think the stuff that he did to kind of help Bad Bunny get over is something that is, commendable and important. But how much has that elevated him as a viable threat? That's more so what I was saying. But overall, solid match. I am interested to see what happens with the Judgment Day, though.
Yeah, no, I am as well. You are certainly right. We often talk about whether or not a title makes a champion or a champion makes a title. What about a faction makes a wrestler or a wrestler makes a faction? Has the faction made Damian Priest? Or we'll have to wait and see. Kobe, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one.
I think a lot of the things you said, Shad, are kind of what I would agree with. I mean, we're looking at Damian Priest as someone who has the chance to sit here and prove that he's a world champion, that he's world championship material, that he can carry at least a brand. Because keep in mind, we're in a brand. He's the champion, the world champion of a brand that has, yes, Seth Rollins is injured, but it has Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, CM Punk, Sheamus. There's a lot of names that we can sit here and say, I would put the world title on that guy. And Damian Priest is the world champion right now. It's kind of the weirdest part of this scenario is he's like, even though he is now kind of a main carder, he's like almost the weakest main eventer of the main eventers in the brand. But
This drama.
But I think they did really well. This match avoided what happened at WrestleMania with kind of going into, okay, we're just going to have Jey Uso work the crowd, get the super kick, Samoan, get the spear, get the Samoan drop. Like, there was a lot more stuff to work with. He told a story. He sold. He got the crowd behind him. Damian Priest was getting heat by working him down. We have the JD moments. He was getting a tremendous chance at his direction. Finn Balor almost was getting less, or as just maybe equal to what JD was getting. But I mean, it makes sense to the story. Damian Priest almost is going face. And I think that's the direction we're going based off of those video packages. We got the video package the night after WrestleMania, and it's like, okay, you're selling me on this idea of Damian Priest has worked so hard to get this. I don't need that from a heel champion. That's something I want that you can give us that would help support a face champion. And I think that's the direction we're going. I don't know if it's Finn and Damian in at the Clash, or if it's Finn and Damian in Cleveland for SummerSlam. I don't know when that's coming, but I am excited because that is the story to see whether or not Damian can succeed as a face is what I'm interested in.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, that is a good point. We'll have to wait and see how they go about it because, yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I think I would turn any of them face out of the Judgment Day. But Clark, World Championship match. You've historically not been a fan of the Judgment Day.
This was an awesome match for the European title. I was really impressed by the defense. Like, what in the world? We had Seth Rollins carrying this thing as the Workers World Championship. Priest wins it. He's wearing a different color. It's like hint, 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 telegraph. We've got a Jey Uso. We call main event Jey Uso. And then they go on in the middle of the card like it's an intercontinental title match at best. Ben, you can't be watching TV when I'm talking here.
Yeah, I don't know. My screen's just decided. I mean, this is pretty bad. I think I'm going to cover for such a loop.
No, but here's my issue with this match.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we've got Damian Priest, who I love the Scott Hall connection, the surfboard entrance, the move set, all of it, the look. It's too many hints. The Judgment Day is the problem, not Damian Priest. It's the Judgment Day. It needs to stop. I complained about Damage Control and Judgment Day for like 2 years now. And so I do sound like a broken record, but I'm still sick of them because it's not what it was intended to be. Who's the real leader? I don't know. Ripley's hurt now. They make even less sense than they've ever made. It makes no sense. And also, why is Damian Priest wearing a red handkerchief out of his back right pocket and everyone else wears purple? Someone explain. But it's just telegraphed, and then he's going to turn face, and I don't get it. Damian Priest would make a great heel. Menacing, punishing heel. Especially after winning the title the way he won the title, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing babyface about him. Finn Balor fighting from underneath, being the smaller guy, but with an equally electric resume, makes way more sense as the babyface. I don't get the Judgment Day. I haven't got them from the beginning. I don't know why they caused Edge, Adam Copeland to get Rhea Ripley's haircut. I don't like it, and I want it to end. I'm done with the Judgment Day. I'm done with it. It's over. Stop
It's
it with the
done.
Judgment Day. Break them up.
I think they're
Figure
going
it out.
to be fair. I think that is where this is going. But I mean, great comment here from TJ Hothead on Instagram saying, did Uncle Howdy just throw an Easter egg on Penn's TV? Could well have done. That's never happened
was
before.
Howdy.
I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't know what happened. Anyway, it's working again now. Maybe it was. Maybe WWE have decided to involve me on the teasers for this new faction.
If I see that barcode behind you, Ben.
That's going to freak me out, dude.
Just pops up.
I've been having issues with nightmares lately.
But let's now move on, because listen, we were watching this live. We've mentioned it a few times. We were watching this live in a bit of a a watch along, like we always do for these shows at Wrestling Republic. And during it, I was watching. Well, we were all watching the women's tag match, right? And there was a few sloppy moments. The referee had an awful botch. Botches happen. They rarely happen with referees. Let's just, let him move on with it. Hopefully he doesn't make one like it again. But listen, obviously the chemistry wasn't there during certain moments of this match. But I thought Jade Cargill looked great. I'm going to be brutally honest. I thought, apart from Asuka, she looked the second best person in this match. She recovered multiple botches. She also did several just moves unbelievably well. She had the aura. She had the star power. She had what can only be described as it. But Kobe, you weren't the fan of this segment, were you, with this match? And Jade Cargill specifically.
I think there's a lot of moments where we can look at this match, and if I was gonna rewatch it, I can say, okay, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. I feel like there's a lot of moments where there's slow and clunky issues that do in fact happen, and it's something where it's like it maybe went too long. I think there's moments where you could have shortened this match, you could have made it different, you could have done it differently, and it could have played out a lot better. It could have been a squash and it would have been as effective. Because keep in mind, Bianca Belair is one of their top stars, and they're building Jade Cargill to be up one of their top stars. Asuka's I don't want to say past her prime, but Asuka's probably not going to be at that level anytime soon, maybe once or twice in the next year and a half. But she's not going to be the one to carry the world title. Kairi Sane, I don't know if she will either. So to me, this has similar factors to what I was complaining about Mania Week. Is there was the Damage Control 6-woman tag match on Raw against a random three-person team. I guess Shayna and Zoe have experience as a team, but like they took them 10 minutes to do that match. It's like, why are they barely beating a trio that has no experience? And then WrestleMania played out the way it went. This, I don't want to say feels the same way, but there were things that went wrong that I can sit here and go and point out. I think Jade Cargill has her moments. I'm not going to sit there and say she doesn't. I think she has it. She has an aura. She's over. If you told me a year ago she'd be performing for a France crowd for the WWE, I'd be laughing. But here she is. She's
what?
Well, she was in AEW a year ago.
Everybody this time last year was saying WWE will sign her up and she'll be a top star.
No one knew she was going to leave a year ago. No one knew a year ago she was going to leave. And I kind of stand by that at this point. But she has her moments and she's performing in front of a great crowd. And I do give her credit where credit is due. She looks good, but there's also moments she doesn't. And that's where I have issues with it. I feel like they were few and far between. There's good moments, then there's, that's really good. That's how I felt like this match played out. There's positive things I can say, but there's also a lot more negatives, I feel.
Oh no, come on! There was like 2
But
bad
that's
spots
not
for
just on
Jade
Jade.
in this
But I'm
match.
not. That's not just
That's-
about Jade Cargill. That's
that
about the
that
match as a whole.
referee messed that match
Okay.
up, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Kyrie, and I'm a big Kyrie Sane fan, right? I thought she was locked a lot worse than Jade in this, right? I think Jade actually saved, I think, 2 of her botches during this match as well. For somebody on there, like, what's this? This is her first long main roster match, and I honestly think she recovered multiple botches. Like I said, was there 2 clunky moments that she had? Yes, but I think there was about 5 phenomenal moments, and like I said, multiple saves. Jade Cargill, she is her, and I'm not the only one who thinks that, because Clark, for the longest time, you have been on that Jade Cargill train. I mean, you think that she is the next top star?
What match did Kobe watch? You have to be kidding me. We have arguably the 2 most athletic women to step in the ring in WWE history, teaming together against the Kabuki Warriors, an all-time great tag team from Japan. This is a huge deal. And on top of that, Jade Cargill is a star's star.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill is like built in a lab. You can't, I know really good writers that can't make Jade Cargill up. Like, and really good artists. Like, she is out of a fantasy movie. The movement, the strength, the athleticism, even in the spots where, yes, she is early in her wrestling career. I am not going to say she's the color of my sweater. I promise you that much, because she is not at this point after all of the matches she's wrestled, and she in numerous spots stole the show. Yes, there was the referee botch. That was the low point of this match. That had nothing to do with Jade Cargill. Not to mention Bianca Belair, who is right there athletically. And we talked earlier about how great Orton and KO are on turning on tag team partners. I cannot wait to see those 2 lock horns. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Bianca and Jade?
WrestleMania main event.
Stop
WrestleMania
it. Yeah, that is put it on a poster now. That is the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. In and of itself, that's what it is. I don't know. I don't understand any of the criticism when it comes to Jade or Bianca in this match. I thought Kairi Sane had a few, muddy spots, I would call them, during the match, but I'm not even going to be critical. Kairi's a veteran, and Asuka's a veteran as well. I thought the match was well wrestled. I was entertained throughout. I enjoyed it. I really don't get it. I do not get the criticism.
Nor do I. I mean, I'm going to say something hugely controversial here first. Well, not really hugely controversial. I don't think it's that controversial at all. I genuinely think Jade Cargill is like the best. Like, she has the look. Like, when you imagine a stereotypical wrestler, she has like the look of it. She's the person who has that look more than anybody since Brock Lesnar.
She
genuinely, where you're like, you were built in a lab. Jade Cargill is her.
Yeah, she looks like, but better than that, even in some ways. It's like, right? Like Charlotte Flair has that look.
Yeah.
And she makes Charlotte Flair look, right? Like pretty pedestrian by comparison. And that's no knock on Charlotte. But Jade Cargill is chiseled of stone. Like, you can't, and moves at lightning quick when she has to. Like, did you see her nip up? She nipped up like it was nothing.
Unbelievable.
You do not see that every day.
You don't. You really, really don't. But we do have some breaking news, guys. WrestleMania 41 is in Las Vegas. WrestleMania 41, April 19th and 20th. Clark, should we go?
Oh, we will be there. Wrestling Republic will be on the Vegas Strip. I cannot miss that. It's like my home away from home. I love Vegas. Let's go.
We need to sort something out there for sure. I mean, oh, that has me excited. It really, really does. But, Shad, I don't want to skip you on this at all because I want to get your thoughts. There's controversy, but did Jade deliver or didn't she deliver? Is a storm coming or was it actually a sunny day?
No, we are sitting in the eye of the storm currently with Jade Cargill, and I think tonight's match is a moment that we should not undermine at all. This was a magnificent moment. They gave the belt to two deserving women. One woman, not Jade Cargill, but Bianca Belair, who I think by the time she might be done with professional wrestling, can arguably be listed as the GOAT, possibly.
Ooh.
She's the trajectory of what she's done in a vacuum in a short time frame has been sensational. She has won belt upon belt upon belt. She's won mania match upon mania match upon mania match. She has made moment upon moment upon moment. And yes, was the match, a top five-star match? No. But was it a bad match? Not at all. I gotta give a lot of blame to that referee because that botch psychologically messed up a lot of those wrestlers' heads to kind of be like, what's going on? That's not cool. If the person who's helping orchestrates the match and throws you a big curveball that messes up everything, that may happen. And besides that, I think the highs were really high in this match. The lows were there, but they weren't that low where it brought it down to me. And I gotta say this, and I said it when we had our watch party to a lot of people online and fans. I think there's a lot of unfair criticism towards Jade because people are hypersensitive to critique what she cannot do instead of appreciating what she does do. And I don't think that's fair as a professional wrestler. I think we watch wrestlers to be entertained and go through that. If you're specifically watching just to kind of see where she's gonna mess up, that ain't cool on that behalf. So I think a lot of people online do tend to do that. That ain't cool to me. It had its moments. It was definitely not the best match on the card. It may have been the worst match on the card, but I don't think it was a bad match per se. And I'm excited to see what Bianca and Jay do as the tag team champion.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. People are, putting Jade Cargill out. I feel like they're just, like I said, I will watch this match very carefully. I thought Kyrie, who again, I'm not hating on her, I'm a big fan of her. I thought she didn't have a great match. Whereas Jade did. Like, I feels like people are just, there's some issue with Jade people have.
One last thing also to people, right?
Yeah.
We got a long match. We got two long women's matches on the pay-per-view tonight. Let's also be happy about that. They didn't get the short end of the stick. They didn't get a 2-minute match or whatnot. They got, someone said 17 minutes. That is incredible, bro. Like, it was a shorter card and every match got time. It's part of the game. They're gonna learn and go through it all, man. And I'm happy because I think Kyrie Sane is a better in-ring singles competitor than a tag team wrestler. So I'm excited to see what she gets to do on Raw because she's gonna be able to flourish there.
I also think people are peanut butter and jealous of Jade, to your point, Ben.
Yeah. To be fair, I think everybody probably would be. But when you look, chiseled like a god like that, it is,
Yeah.
I think everybody will be a bit jealous.
My-
But that is because she is her. Let's now move on and let's talk
She's that.
about.
Never mind.
Anyways, no curse.
That's not PG. But let's now move on to talk about somebody who some people say is him, some people say isn't him, and that is Mr. Cody Rhodes, who took on AJ Styles. Now, I think we've all been a bit critical of the build towards this match. Obviously, last night on SmackDown, they did a better job at building it, and they did well at the press conference too, but they did take their sweet time to get to the actual build of them. But I mean, this as a main event, well, it got time, and I think it delivered. But Shad, what did you think?
I thought this was my personal favorite match of the entire pay-per-view. I was critical this week in regards to how the match was being built up. I didn't think they covered as many grounds as they could have to the build-up, but it was poetry in motion in the ring, and that was lovely to see. I think Cody Rhodes is one of these guys that if this is a taste of what we're gonna get as him being champion, I'm here for it because every feud, every match is gonna be a different, no pun intended, story. And I think they told a good story in ring wise with this match. We forget how great AJ Styles is as a wrestler, bro. This is arguably one of the best in ring wrestlers of all time that I've ever seen. He is a sole reason that I watched a different promotion during my youth as a teenager with TNA, just because I was mesmerized on how great he was in ring and what he's been able to do, even coming into the WWE. It's been remarkable. I think they told a great story. I think there was a very well paced professional wrestling match. I think the match itself built up all issues I had with the storyline. So I'm excited for it. I mean, I was excited for the match watching it. I liked it. A lot of cool spots, a lot of painful spots. Hopefully, they get some rest after that. And yeah, man, we here for the Cody era, and I think it's a good start. First good title defense for him on a pay per view. I'm happy about
A
it.
solid start indeed, and you are right. I hope their aeroplane seats are, comfy on the way back because these two must
Yeah,
be in a lot of pain following
yeah.
this one.
The match was
Uh,
too sweet, as they could
Oh,
say.
Bullet Club reference thrown in there. I agree with you, though, completely. It was great. But, Clark, I don't know if you're going to agree because I never seem to know with Cody with you, right? Because Cody's done some great stuff. And I'm like, well, Clark doesn't like this. And you're like, no, I don't like it. And he's done some bad stuff. And you have liked it. So I don't know. But did you like this? Has his title reign got off to a good start?
They wrestled a really good match. I'll start there.
Okay,
It
positive.
was nice to see that AJ Styles joined the Judgment Day.
I knew that was coming.
I wish we could have got Tom and Nick Mysterio as well, but obviously that's for another show. Yeah, I mean, tough to see the Judgment Day take that loss there. I mean, obviously Priest gets a win earlier, but yeah, I mean, AJ Styles is so dang good. And the build for this was just goofier than a football bat, right? Like it just didn't make any sense to me. And yeah, it was basically like wearing basketball cleats along the way to this. And like that's my biggest problem is it's a 5-star match and we complain, and I'm not trying to make this an AEW WWE thing, but we complain about no story. This was to me no story because AJ's story was about him and LA Knight and it finished and it was like, oh, that earned him a title shot. Like AJ's actual storytelling that went well, in my eyes, right?
I don't. I think you're being a bit harsh there.
I don't. I
They
mean,
took a while to tell a story.
they
but the last
shook
few weeks, they
hands
talked
and
about
they
it.
told each other how great they are. Like at a signing, it was like, oh, he's so
They did
good, and
last
so
last night. I
you're
was not
so
that thing.
good, and you're
Yeah.
so good too, and let's wrestle. Like come on, man. It's just like a little bit more for a match that was this intense and violent and all of that, and the crowd contributed to it. I was locked in. I loved the match. Do not get that twisted. Don't think I'm trying to say that the match wasn't awesome. It was. Like, especially like if I'm watching it no context, I'm assuming that the story that was told that led to it was off the charts.
Yeah.
And that's my only stone left unturned when it came to this. It felt a little like I feel about Jey Uso. Perfect first opponent, right? Perfect first opponent. Look at they're in a big title match, and then we'll see what happens from there. And that to me is unfair to AJ and it's unfair to Jay. And if I was going to nitpick anything out of this pay-per-view, which PLE, which I thought was entertaining from top to bottom, and I enjoyed immensely. Do not get that twisted. Please do not, if you're listening to this right now. Like I enjoyed every second of it. If I had one complaint, it's those two matches were just so obvious.
Yeah.
Despite how well wrestled they were so obvious. And that to me just hurt the entertainment value. But outside of that, I mean, of course, these are two of the best in the world. Two of the best of all. AJ Styles, arguably best of all time in some circles.
Wow.
Right? Not bell to bell, right? There are people that say that, not myself, but he's he's high on the list.
That's the biggest get out of jail free card ever, you know. I think the
There are people that say it.
goat. I'm not saying it, but
I'm not saying it, but
Bell
people
for
do.
Bell for Bell. He's definitely one of the best Bell for Bell.
Yeah, thank you, Shad.
It's him, Michaels, Danielson, and Hart.
Danielson. I like that. I like that list. Oh,
Glad
both
to.
Harts, Owen and Brett. And then I would add Kurt Angle. I would add.
He's in the top 10. He's in the top 10.
Yeah, he's up there. Anyway,
I
sorry,
think there's
that's
quite
not
a
about
few
that. And I got to give Kobe his
UK
time.
wrestlers as well. You can bring in to that argument, but no, I do agree that I was certainly a good match. And to be fair, I will say this: they are telling a story with Styles, unlike with Joe Uso, where they're showing Styles again a bit insecure because he keeps bringing up that he's still in his prime, despite the fact that the commentary team keep mentioning his age. It's blatantly they're building on something there. And I think that's kind of, been the story of his heel turn. But Kobe, I want to get your thoughts on this main event match.
I think it's another one where I can't disagree with things that have been said. I think it's a great build for what this match was. It was a slow build. We have AJ Styles working on him. We have that brilliant brainbuster on the apron. We have a lot of work. There was a great couple great Cody cutters. We saw the burning hammer, which I took an issue to having a move that was banned. I want to say 3 years ago, end up getting a 1 count. I didn't like it when we saw Kenny Omega do it. I can't disagree with saying the crowd reacts in the way they do. The crowd do. The crowd lose their, I don't want to say it, they lose their SHIT.
Yeah, don't say it. Yeah.
Their mind. They lose their mind. They lose their minds. Their collective minds. That's what you meant.
Well, then they'd all be dead after.
No,
they
lost their minds.
If they started trying this at home, they probably would be, which is why you need to be careful.
They find them eventually, but they lose them temporarily.
That's better. But I mean, that's the thing. This is keep in mind. This is what we're going to be getting. They keep saying this is the new era. Cody Rhodes is the face of the new era. These are the types of matches we're going to get. We're going to get, I don't want to say slow builds, but they did take their time to build to a crescendo. They crescendoed all the way up and ended the way they did, which was great. I like the Crossroads finish. I thought I wasn't necessarily expecting anything out of the norm, like a Howdy debut or not debut, Howdy return or anything similar to that, like that. I think it ended the way it needed to. The crowd are firmly behind Cody Rhodes regardless. And I while it wasn't the match of the night, I thought it was still a solid main event. Probably if I'm excluding the WrestleMania main events, it is my favorite main event of the year from WWE.
Wow.
From WWE.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, yeah, we are only a few pay-per-views into it.
I guess, the only two are the men's Royal Rumble and the men's Chamber.
Yeah.
The only two are the men's Rumble and the men's Chamber. But yeah. I think it is a very good singles match that we saw.
No, it absolutely was. I do agree with you, but that does pretty much bring us to the end of the show. I mean, guys, Backlash. I opened it up by saying this French crowd was unbelievable. They really, really were. And I feel like that's going to make this pay-per-view a lot more memorable compared to, the matches themselves. But it was fun. And it was also nice, just, selfishly as somebody who lives in the UK, to have a pay-per-view at a reasonable time.
I liked it in the morning in the US. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wins, don't they, pretty much?
It's 5 p.m. I can enjoy my evening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I might go have a baguette and some brie.
You could do. A French-inspired meal. Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Clark. And thank you, Shad. We will see you guys tomorrow for a little bit of Sunday Fun Day. 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific. See you guys then.